Welcome back to the channel, Hosers. This is Backdoor coming to you with another tabletop. I've been having a really crappy day today. Had to go into the office and do a bunch of cleanup, and as I'm driving home, I sent my wife a message saying, you know, after the day I had, I could really go for a piece of punani pie. And this is what she gave me. She gave me this. She said she thought that I auto-corrected the voice to zucchini. She thought I wanted a zucchini pie. So I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with this, but I've been trying to look up some recipes on Google, but well, never mind. Anyways, we'll figure something out to do with this. Okay guys, today we're going to take a look at the Glock 17 Gen 5 MOS model wearing a hollow sun optic compared to the Walther PPQ Q5 Match. You've seen both these guns. I've done an initial review on this. I've only got about 500 rounds through it. I've done, I think, 3 or 4 videos on this one. I'd say I'm over 3,000 rounds on it. The only reliability issues I've had with this, I'm going to say, have come down to magazine related, and I've since sold those 2 magazines that were causing the problems, and I haven't been able to replicate them. So I'm going to say that those issues were magazine related. I've removed the Dawson Precision magwell that I did a video on, sold the 2 magazines that had a little bit of a notch in them, and the gun's been flawless since. As has the Walther PPQ. Of course, this has been a much smaller sample. Rest assured, though, I think I feel very confident saying both these are great options as far as reliability goes. So what I'm going to speak to today is strictly my impressions of the 2 pistols, just how they fit me, how I shoot them, and the accuracy I'm getting. Take it for what it is. It's what I get. It's going to be different for you. Originally, I found that when I was drawing this pistol and presenting it, I was having some trouble with the angle of the grip just compared to, you know, 1911s or SIGs, and I was having problems finding the optic, the reticle. Now I've corrected that. I've been practicing with it. I am getting quicker. I am getting better. It's becoming a little bit more fluid. However, with the PPQ, I just find that this angle, and I'll try to show you the difference, but you can see the angle is a bit different. I just find that this angle for me points a little bit better. Okay, so if you're used to Glocks, obviously you're going to like the Glock better. This is definitely not a 1911 angle, but for me, this angle just, I feel like I get a little bit higher and I point a little bit better. Now, with that grip, you know, that angle and what have you, I do find, as you can see, it's a little bit shorter. And even with the magazines that we get in Canada, I don't know if they're different in the US, it doesn't really add any, there's no rubber grip added. So I do find that for me, I would prefer this grip being, you know, maybe just a 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch longer, just so I could get in there a little bit better. So I will give the nod to the Glock on that, because I do find that the Glock, it just has a little bit more down there, and the Glock definitely has a bit more of a little magwell incorporated into it. Okay, so this version is one of the first Gen 5s where they were still doing the half moon cut. I think the newer ones got rid of that. So just be wary of that if you are looking at a Gen 5. So that was my original problem with this one, is I just couldn't get that grip and I couldn't shoot it as fast as I like to. I did some speed videos on it and I did get a little bit better with it, but I would give the nod to the PPQ on that one. Just pointability is a little bit better. So this one I can point and shoot, and I do find that it is a little bit slower to get back on target as quick as the PPQ. I find that this one's return, or the flip, is a little bit less. I don't know if it's, you know, with the lightning cuts, just letting that slide reciprocate a little bit faster and get back. I just find that this one is actually right back on target. I want to say it's more neutral, as in if I'm pointing at the bullseye and I pull the trigger, it recoils and settles back pretty darn close to that trigger. Whereas the Glock, I find it's a little bit more so. I find that you know, the recoil, it doesn't come back as flat as it should. And I'm going to give the nod to the PPQ on that as well. I just find for me it's a little bit easier, and you know, and that's being with much lower actual rounds fired through this. So those are my initial impressions just on, you know, picking it up and shooting it. Could those be, you know, hammered out with training? Of course, right? You want to train. You don't train till you get it right. You train till you cannot get it wrong. So that's the problem when I'm bouncing around trying to do these reviews, is, you know, I'm shooting one and then I'm going to the other and I'm not building consistent. But, you know, both guns have that same handicap, and I find with this one it's a little bit better. So I'll just quickly show you what I mean with some of these accuracies. So just first off, this was, you know, just rapid fire. So this is the Glock 17, and again, this is just 3-round burst trying to go fast. So 1, 2, 3, you know, this is whatever you want to say it is, like, what is that, maybe 2.5 inches? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So not bad, you know, going fast at 12 meters, 12 yards. 17 again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and probably had a flyer to the left, and then 1, 2, and another flyer. So not the greatest. Now, if you look at the PPQ, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all of them are high. That could just be the optic. So, you know, the fact is, look at the group, right? I mean, here, let me get my measuring. So look at that group, right? What is that? Like an inch? You know, that's pretty good compared to this, right? So, well, this one is a flyer. So, you know, yeah, I always keep this on hand just in case I need it. And then this one was a little bit better. I think with this one, I remember I slowed down just slightly. So, you know, take it for what it is. I did slow down. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's 2 there. 1, 2, 3. So a little bit better. And then this one was, I believe these were rapid. I think I wrote on it rapid fire. Yeah, so PPQ rapid, 10 rounds, you know, all in the X ring. And then I had the one flyer that I marked X. So that was rapid. This was rapid. So look at that. All of them in the X ring. Right. And again, this is 12 meters. So I did make a note here. This one was my Glock, the first go. So, you know, the 10 rounds, you know, a pretty good grouping. Again, I moved it a little bit over and I got it in a bit more because it was just pushed to the left. And then this one as well. After I made a second adjustment, I marked it after adjustment. So you can see. So accuracy, shooting fast, you know, for me, I'd say if I was going to give a nod to one, it would be the PPQ just in my hands. But I think if you practice with both, they'd be just as accurate. I don't think the PPQ, you know, saying it's a match gun with a 5-inch barrel, I don't think this is, you know, dramatically more accurate than the Glock. So I would say that kind of negates what you're paying extra for the Q5 on the match version. Maybe just go with the PPQ and save a few $100, right? So take that for what it is. The other thing I will say with these mounting systems, just quickly, is you can see, and I I don't know if you could see it or not, but the actual mounting plate, I brought them down. So on the PPQ, they are more robust. Look how thick this is, right? So these are very thick versus the MOS, which are much thinner, okay? Now, I'm not going to say one's better than the other. It's just something to note. If anything, I would say the thinner ones are better, considering they are steel or metal, whatever. I know the M&P optic that I have, the M&P Pro, it is a plastic mounting plate, which to me is just garbage. So look how high it sits, okay? So you are going to notice it sits a lot higher, and that's going to affect, you know, the slide reciprocating because the weight's a little bit higher. So again, I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I will just say if I had to choose, I would choose the lower one. I did notice that this one, it wasn't torqued down properly. It did come loose from doing, I was just doing some of these to load, you know, manipulating the slide with the optic. And that's why I think I noticed that it's at after adjustment on those targets, is because the screw did come loose. I came home, I used a torque wrench, tightened it up. Haven't had the same problem. It's been perfect since. So again, I'm not going to say one's better than the other. It's just one sits higher, and that could be bad or good depending on how you prefer. The other thing to notice is the Walther Q5. It has the rear sight embedded in the plate. So what that means is you cannot run an optic with a rear sight. You cannot co-witness. You do not have backup irons. There's nothing there. It's just if the optic fails, you are without sights. You'll just have a front sight. The Glock has the option of running, obviously I don't have suppressor height sights, but you can run a taller sight and co-witness. That way, if your optic fails, you will have backup sights. So to me, that's a huge advantage. And the other thing too is this rear sight to me, other people have complained, and this could be a big problem for our American friends if you're carrying this gun, is look how much it sticks out. That is a snag hazard. That's going to grab your clothes that if you're using it as a carry gun. It just looks fragile. It looks like if you were to bang it, it might break. So I'm not crazy about this, you know, but that's how it is. So it's one or the other. It's either you're running the optic or you're running iron sights with no optic. So a huge advantage for the Glock on that one. The only thing really left to differentiate these two guns is trigger. And I'm going to have to say, like, there's not even a competition. This Glock trigger is gritty. It's rough. It's not smooth. It has a nice crisp break, but the reset is a little bit longer. It's just really gritty, and, you know, you could feel it. It is consistent. But compared to the PPQ's trigger, I mean, there's just no comparison. This is just smooth, and it, you know, breaks much lighter. But then the reset is much lighter. So definitely the PPQ wins on the side of the trigger. Now, whether or not it's worth, you know, $300-400 upgrade over the Glock, I don't know if that's worth it to you. You could easily buy an aftermarket trigger on the Glock. And don't get me wrong, the Glock trigger is not terrible. You do get used to it. It's just, you know, playing with it slowly, you really feel the grit. In shooting drills and combat, I don't think you would even notice it. You know, it's perfectly fine when you're shooting it. It's just sitting at a table playing with the two. You do notice that the PPQ is a little bit better. So as for the two pistols, I mean, that's what you're looking at. There's not much really differentiating them, I would say. This one has a shorter grip, but a longer slide. Could be a pain in the butt if you're carrying it. Whereas the Glock, you know, is to me, it's the perfect size. The slide is right. The grip is perfect. I'm just not crazy about the angle, but as far as dimensions go, I think it's the perfect size and perfect slide length. I don't need a 5-inch slide. And if I had to choose between the two, I would probably still stick with the Glock only because it's cheaper. I think it does more of what it's supposed to do better. And again, with the $300-400 you save, you know, that's going to pay for your optic or your ammo to practice. Accessories, parts, aftermarket, you know, factory, everything is just going to be so much easier to find with this. Magazines, you know, Magpul magazines are cheap. This PPQ, I tried looking for a spare magazine and it was over $100. It was $99 plus shipping plus tax in Canada, because what they told me is that this will not take the regular PPQ M1 or M2 mag, or no, sorry, it doesn't take the M1 mags. It has to take the M2 mags. And they're, you know, I found one place that had them for $79, but they were out of stock. So the only place I found them in stock were $99, and I said no way. So guys, save your money, go with the Glock. I think you'd be just as happy. And again, you know, this is probably gonna get you through hell and back. It's gonna always work. And if you're really picky on the trigger, just throw an aftermarket trigger in there.